care who it is. This is a brotherhood. And if we stand strong together, we can't be denied. If one of us goes down, we have another, and another, and another that's ready to fight. So let's hit this field and bang them, bang them, bang them. Somebody, light me up.
It's time to huddle up. It's the Turf District Podcast. Welcome back to the Turf District, where we huddle up to talk all things Edmonton Elks and the CFL. And thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us live on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, or possibly you've downloaded the podcast, or maybe you are listening on Edmonton Sports Talk Radio. Either way, we appreciate you taking the time to spend some time with us, where you have a lot of fun and exciting things to talk about. Of course, we have another win and a 5-1 Elks team to get into, as well as, of course, this past game against BC and setting up the head-to-head that's coming up here against the Riders. But we also have an amazing guest for you. So let's first bring in the regular crew, starting with Super fan Mike. How are you, my friend?
Oh, fantastic. It was a great weekend. We smashed some burgers, we smashed some lions. It was a pretty good time.
The first part for sure. The second, well, we smashed one lion in particular that kind of helped us in the game. That was great. That was smart. It's good on us. That's right. Who else is here? There is one Commissioner Kayla. How are you, Commish?
Oh, good. Very, very good. Oh, excuse me. Very, very good. There we go.
Okay. Well, your voice sounds better now than what it did on Friday, so that's good.
Slow progress, gentlemen. 98% there. Woo!
Okay. We'll take it.
I will take it. Yes.
Yes. And of course, the Queen of Beers, Linda. How are you, Linda?
I'm great tonight. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to tell you this before we get started. This is what I am having this evening. And,
yummy.
Like Mike said, he likes all those words. I saw it and I thought, ooh, Himalayan salted caramel. Wow, that's quite the mouthful, but I am sure it's also quite the tasty mouthful. So that's what I'm working on right now.
It is good.
Well, have you had it?
Never. This is the first time I've had. Oh yeah, I just tried it. Yes,
I've had it. Yeah.
And
good mouthfeel.
Okay.
Winning.
I say that just for Linda. All right. Now, remember, if you are live with us, please add your questions into the chats. We will get to some fan questions with our guest today, and hopefully take a couple more as we get towards the end of the show when we're talking about setting up this week's game. And actually, wait, before I bring my guest in, I do want to send positive thoughts to our good friend Leanne, and of course James. We're thinking about you guys. We love you guys, and hope things are coming through the way we want to. Also, I do want to send our positive thoughts to both families in the tragedy involving the Jaden Dalkey, and I did not write his name down. The other victim that's awful. A horrible situation, and it's grieving families on both ends. So our thoughts with them for sure. All right, now let's bring in our guest. Our guest really needs no introduction. I believe this is his 7th time on the podcast. At this point, he should really have the jacket. There he is, everyone's favorite, Dave Jamieson. Welcome back, Jaimo.
Hey, it's good to see you guys again. 7 visits? I have overstayed my welcome.
No,
No,
Even
hardly.
close.
by some measure. I'm flattered you'd have me, but wow, 7. I know we go way back, like
It's true.
way back to the basement, and
Marinating in green and gold.
yes,
just a moment. Actually, I
Oh.
believe if we tune in just here, I believe
Marinating in green and gold. I love it.
There it is.
there it
That's
is.
it.
There it
Marinating
is.
in
That's
green and
yeah,
gold. Yes.
that was the original visit. Yes.
Yes.
And Jaimo, we always love having you on,
Well,
and honored that you
I
would
like
take
being here a
time
great deal. It's a lot of fun.
spend time with us.
Mhm.
What is new in Jaimo world? Which, by the way, is a theme park I would totally go to.
Yes.
But, what is new with you, my friend?
Well, what's new? I'm doing a little fill-in work, if you want to call it that, at Edmonton Sports Talk. My dear friends over there, and so they entertain me when the need arises, and they have me slide in. I'm in for Monday, Tuesday, and then tomorrow with Lieutenant Eric back on Friday, so I can get Sobeys Beer of the Week.
Nice.
And I'm also, I call myself, I'm not retired, somewhat semi-retired in the sense that, I'm not chasing down a full-time gig either in communications or media right now. But I am doing so. For the people who have followed you, and I guess by extension followed my story, coming out of my cancer diagnosis, surgery, and then living, I'm now, by the way, 5 years, and as of a month ago, officially in remission.
Yes.
But I live with a chronic condition now, and have for the last 5 years, called dysphagia. And so for 4 years, I have been a patient partner for the Aging Swallow Research Lab at McMaster University. And so what I've done over that time, and the incredible team there, I've presented at a conference in Chicago, a national one here in Montreal, this with over the last sort of year and a bit. And my story, which it's me in the first person, obviously the smart people put it into an academic setting, was published, I'm going to say 2 months ago, in the American Journal of Speech Language Pathology. So I'm doing that work. It's advocacy for people who share my condition. And it's also, there's obviously an educational component, if I believe. I don't want to waste the opportunity to share my experiences, and hopefully those will help others. And so I'm working with the ASRL, Aging Swallow Research Lab, and I've recently started working as a collaborator and a member of the Health and Aging Collaborative at McMaster as well. So I should be wearing McMaster colors, or not Ticats colors, but because I feel a real kinship to the people there. They've been great for me and to me, and it's a wonderful opportunity.
That's
That
amazing.
is incredible.
That's incredible work for sure.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Going to the team, Edmonton is 5-1. This
Yes.
is the first time in 2017. I think we were 6-0 at this point.
Right.
We were exactly 5-1 was 2015, which may be a good omen. We'll see.
Mhm.
What was your expectation for the team before the season started? Do you have any idea it would be like this?
No, I didn't see 5-1, but I have a great deal of faith in Ed Hervey, who I would call a friend, someone I've known since he came. People may not remember this about Ed. He did go to a Bombers training camp before he arrived here, and he's told the story many times about having soaking wet equipment. And he took one look at Winnipeg and the conditions and said to his agent, "Get me out of here." But then he returned. Then he returned to Edmonton. But, Ed knows how to build CFL teams that win. Mark Killam, who I don't know personally, I was there when he was hired, because I went back in 2024, as you guys know, to work on the 75th and then move into tickets and service. So I was around this group. Chris Morris, I know well as a player. And, it's like, how do I put this nicely? It's like the football adults entered the room, after some time of, let's just say, less than results and chaos in the organization. It just feels like this is is close to me as the Eskimos used to be at their best. Like, I'm not saying because I was there, but in the time I was there, in what I would call the modern era, 98 to 2012 in my case, when there was that period where the Eskimos, would go on the field and they were, didn't win every game, but they had a chance and they won a lot of games. And there was a solidness to the organization, never chaotic. Now, mind you, we had a lot of money, a lot of fans. There were a lot of things that come with all of that success. And so we're in early days. 5-1 is wonderful. Build up these wins now because you might need them later if somebody key goes down or you get a bunch of injuries. But I didn't foresee 5-1. I did see a good start.
That's fair.
That
fair.
is very fair.
Absolutely.
Did anybody really see a 5-1? Like, let's be honest.
Well, me, of course.
Yeah. 6-0, 18-0.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Grey Cup.
Oh, right. We're pulling a Valentine.
It's
Sorry, I
easy.
forgot.
It's so easy on paper. No,
It's our job.
Right. Yeah. It's so, like, I went to the last couple of games, and to see the feeling in tailgate, which is just the best thing that's happened to that football club. I don't know, in terms of I hate that fan engagement. You know what I'm saying? Atmosphere. And to wander around there and just to kind of drink in the vibe now is very hopeful. It is upbeat. It doesn't feel like people are tailgating because it's some sort of community service they have to perform. They want to be there, and because they know their team is good and they're going to be entertained, and they have been.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all in agreement with the tailgate. And I love that you use drink in, because that's exactly what we do at tailgate. We drink in a lot.
Some more than others. Yeah.
Some more than others. Oh.
Yes.
Anyway, okay. So apart from the 5-1, what do you find kind of the most exciting part about watching these Elks, or maybe not even just the Elks, the coaches, or whatever it may be? What do you find the most exciting?
I'm always going to be interested in the evolution of a young head coach. And I see Mark Killam sort of growing. He's a bright young guy. Obviously, I knew him, who he was. I didn't work with him clearly in Calgary. And hearing people who I respect in their football knowledge talk about him, and watching, like, I could see Mark Killam being here a very long time. Now, what does that mean in today's professional sports environment? And that would be for a bunch of reasons so very good. I mean, that's, again, to go back to the Eskimos, and what defined them was consistency. Yeah, they fired coaches and there were changes, and they were a lot in my time as well. But there was a sense that if there was change, it was logical, it was methodical. And so watching Killam for me is really cool, and I think he'll be winning championships and winning Coach of the Year trophies and all that good stuff as he continues to develop. And the Cody Fajardo story, he's won. Like, he is a winning CFL quarterback, and I know. There was some discussion or sort of decisions had to be made on his part. Like, do I want to return? Do I want to keep doing this? And it was so cool, and it is so cool to see how he is playing and how the season is unfolding. And again, it just speaks to, if you have a guy like Cody Fajardo, he may not, be the flashiest. He may not, blow you away with a long run like a Trey Ford or a Davis Alexander, but the dude knows how to play the Canadian game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see what Ed and what they built on the D line, and I mean, I don't know what else I can add to the Justin Rankin discussion. He is a guy. He is a player you would go to watch, and that's hard sometimes in football. Tell me one player you'd go and watch. Go and watch him.
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
You talk about your, sort of getting to know Mark Killam a bit more, and I don't know how many opportunities you've had to do that, but you certainly know a lot of the other coaches that are in that locker room quite well. So I'm sure it's not an accident that that's the group that's amassed. So who's the architect behind that blend of men in the locker room?
Mark Killam, Ed Hervey.
Yeah.
And I because I'm not in the building, and I'm always reluctant to kind of, postulate on, okay, well, this is how it must have gone down. Unless you're there, you're not there. Okay. Or unless you're plugged in and have great sources. But I don't know where Chris Morris injects himself into the football conversations as president, because he's got to worry about the entire brand.
Yeah.
Chris has got to worry about, there's a water leak on, the west side. I mean, somehow that's going to come across his radar during a game. Okay. Yeah. So as the president of an operation like that, I've been there. I've heard those calls. So I don't know but I'm guessing, because of who he is, the position he holds, and the individual, that Chris Morris's voice gets heard in things like setting tone and character. And my understanding, and I do know some. I worked with Jordan Maximic when he was starting out as our our assistant video guy, and now he's the OC. Jason Tucker, obviously, I know very well, and known Tuck for many, many years, and JC, and some of the others. Yeah, it looks like a staff that I would expect, again, not knowing Mark Killam personally, but knowing Ed very well, what I would expect. And so, heavy, high on the character scale, skilled, understand what Edmonton, double E football could or should look like. And so, yeah, it's hard to get. I've been around some staffs that were not very good. And but also I know the ones I have been, and this seems to have a lot of those characteristics.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, you've said it a couple of times. You do have a very good relationship with Ed. You've known him for a very long time. You have a different connection, even just from taking him off the field after a melee and things like this. You've had a different connection.
Well, I have, and I don't know if I've told this story with this group. Have I told you about Ed Hervey and the horse?
No.
Oh no!
I feel like, is that a comic? Because it should be.
So we're in training camp, and it's got to be. Is this Ed's first year? Maybe it was, and we're at Concordia. For the people listening, it was long time training site, not far from Commonwealth. And so Ed arrived in. Were we going 99 or was it 2000? Sorry, Mike, you'll fact.
99 was his first year. Yeah,
99. Let's just go with 99. It may be 2000, but and he comes to town. There's NFL pedigree. He'd been a part of the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys. And he's a decorated U.S. track, I think he was an alternate on the U.S. Olympic track team. And so there's some pedigree naturally at the reporters of the time. I think it was a Joanne Ireland or somebody else wrote a piece on Ed Hervey. And in there, it talks about his speed. And, that was evident as soon as you saw the guy run. I mean, this is whoa, this is faster than, Mark Tobert, who is a great guy. And I love Tobes. But Ed was clearly in a different, stratosphere. And so my phone rings again, the old flip phone, and we're at camp doing two-a-days back then. And it's someone from the communications department over at the track at Northlands. And they are having, I guess, maybe tied around the opening of K-Days or something, a media event. And they've clearly read this piece. And they think it would be cool if Ed would agree to come down to the track after, after 2 days or whatever, to race a horse. And so I'm out on the field. It's hot. You're taking notes. I got a pen, my notepad, and I'm listening. I'm like, okay, and I'm jotting it down. So I understand clearly you would like Ed Hervey to come to the track, whatever it's called. I can't remember
Northlands.
now. Northlands, yeah.
Yeah.
And you would like him to, like I said, he's not expected to go like around the whole thing. Like, is it out of the gate and go a short distance? Whatever. And they give me the details. I'm like, wow, we're really going to have to sell this. I don't know Ed well. So maybe it is his first year. And if you don't know Ed and you just kind of approach him, like, he's big on, he loves people he trusts, but you got to earn that trust.
100%.
Okay?
Yes.
So, and it takes a while to get in under the Ed Hervey trust tent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I love that. So I go to him on a break or whatever. And, again, he's catching his breath. And I'm sure it was between sessions. And I said, Ed, listen, sorry to bother you. And he's like, do I have media do I have to go see anybody? I said, no, listen, before you go over there, I got to run something by you. I've just had a request. And the track, I'm pointing across the track, over there. And I said, listen, they're having a media event, a lot of local celebrities are going to be there. And they're wondering if you could, race a horse for some short distance. And it gets really quiet, and he's just staring at me, and I'm kind of staring back, like, and all he goes is no. And I went, is that a hard no? And he just looked like and just walked away. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'll put him down as a maybe. And like, I've talked to him since. I go, do you remember when I asked you to race the horse? And he's like, yep. It was, we didn't do it, did we? Nope, we sure didn't. Ken, I can say, like, I've never been to Compton, but I'm guessing there are steps along the trust process in Compton that might be different, in other places. Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
but I thought I had to present it to him. I'm doing my job, I guess, on a level, right? Because I was marketing and communications,
That's
right? So
yeah.
I got
Right.
at the end of the day, I got to worry about, creating buzz, whatever that looks like in 1999 for the Eskimos. I thought, well, okay, I've heard weirder things, I suppose, but let's give it a shot.
Oh, I can actually picture Ed's face, like, no.
Oh yeah.
Are you out
It
of
was,
your mind?
and I have seen Ed Hervey very angry, as you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my,
That is
Oh
awesome.
my word.
Now, what do you feel though is different this time around with Ed from the first time he was the GM?
I wasn't here for him as GM in the first time, but I
Right.
was here when he was coming up, finishing his playing career, moving into scouting, and then you remember the interlude where he and Dan McKinnon
Right.
were kind of co-GMs.
Right.
Coming out, was that before Tillman? Coming out of Machocha and into
Yeah.
Tillman. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so that's when I saw, and there was a time when Ed did the community relations. And so I saw Ed, kind of matriculating along the path to what he is now. And so, he obviously his intelligence, a very, very smart man. He is, intimidating to those who, don't. But when I say that, I mean that like he's sort of almost intellectually intimidating, but he's got a seriousness. He's extremely funny, but when it's work, it's work. And there's no kidding around. And he's very focused on results, as you should be in that business. And I guess I would just say age, and he's gone through stuff. He's lost jobs, there was the error, I think a real serious error. And, when he was let go from the Eskimos the first time, there's BC, time in Hamilton. He's packed in a lot of, lived experience in CFL terms and in life terms. He's talked about losing his mother. And so, that's a man of a certain age who's, and that I guess would be as an outsider, but with knowledge of the man, how I would see where he is now.
Makes
That's
sense.
fair for sure. I mean, you really can see it. Like
composed,
to him. Yeah.
Knows what to do and probably what not to do and not to say.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, listening to you tell the story about Ed and the horse, we love the story time with Dave. It's just one of our favorite parts of any episode. So I'd love to go back because this weekend, 24 years ago, this weekend was the first start for a guy that was the fourth string quarterback going into training camp, a guy named Ricky Ray.
Yeah.
He was going up against Damon Allen, who was had been playing in the league for, at that point, 18 years or something like that. So it was the rookie versus the grizzled old vet kind of thing.
Sure.
And then we came back and we won that game. He threw 4 touchdowns. Do you remember anything from that sort of beginning of Ricky Ray when he came into camp?
Sure.
Okay. Before you answer that, Dave, we need to put this in here.
Pull up a chair and get cozy. It is time for a turfside chat.
All right, take it.
Yeah. I remember a tremendous amount from Ricky's arrival, from the time I first laid eyes on him. So you got to remember, it's late in prior to the start of training camp.
Right.
And how we did it back in the day, the general manager, that would have been Tom back then, right? Would come in with some blue papers stapled in the top left corner. And if you know Tom Higgins, everything precisely done.
Makes sense.
And perfectly, handwritten, but legible. And it was it was the player. We used to do a player, in addition to them signing the official paperwork, it was like, hey, could we, the comms department, which was either me and, and I had assistants like Jamie Cartmell and Sean May and Molly Campbell, and over the years, and to get some personal information, where are you from? Happy Camp, California, whatever. And so I get the paper and I'm looking at like Ricky Ray, and I can't take credit for it. Someone said it's like a name of someone they gave in like one of those, like it could have been an XFL name, like a made up football name. And so we're like, okay, Ricky Ray. Hey, okay. But, and then, I go down the hall, I'm trying to feel, like, okay, who is this dude? Right. And so again, early days, we don't have all the access that we have. And so you got to dig to get information on, arena football and all of that. But Rick Warman, of course, had been the guy who discovered him. So Ricky, I remember it's just a few days before we start camp, and he comes to the office and he's got a little backpack on. And he looked like a student, like he was coming through. And again, he's arriving late. You don't have high expectations of guys, arriving 2 or 3 days before you go to camp. Like, I'm sorry. I understand there are people that, for circumstances, they get there late or whatever. They, can't get paperwork and clearance across the board or whatever. And he comes. Still don't know anything. And it was a couple of days into camp. And you started, there were conversations up and down the sidelines, right? People like a Hugh Campbell talking to Jackie Parker. Wow. And they'll be watching and they'll go, 15 looks good. And I think was he wearing 15 in camp? It doesn't matter. I mean, and so
we know him as 15.
Yeah. And sort of a buzz, an awareness, starts to happen. And so remind me, we had Moss. Was that Bart Hendricks in there?
Yep.
Yep.
And who was the other guy?
Leon Murphy.
Right. Leon Murphy. Okay. Who was ahead of Ricky, right, on the chart? And then Ricky Ray. And again, if you're the fourth, you're a camp arm.
Yes.
At least initially, right? Until you prove otherwise. And then, because of what he did, and I think there was the preseason game. Am I remembering this right, Mike? Was it in where did he got time, obviously. Matters not. But like you start building, and getting a comfort, and I mean, I guess we know the rest. Well, we do know the rest. As I recall, the media coverage of the time, it was okay. Moss went down, or did Moss get pulled? No, Moss went down. Right, there was
went down against Saskatchewan,
right,
and then he came in to
and so I do remember the arc of Ricky, right, but truly from day one, sitting in reception, talking to Marie Scott. Our receptionist, longtime receptionist for those who know the Eskimos and the old building. And he came, signed the paperwork, into the coach's room. Yeah,
and that's the funny thing about that is you telling us that there's, I really don't, I don't have a backstory. Like I don't really know, and Ricky's such a chatty guy that it was probably even harder to get.
Oh, well, there was over the year. I mean, I obviously, because he's the quarterback, he's the star quarterback. I mean, it was there with him during the whole Frito-Lay thing and us getting bags of chips. Like we were sick of these boxes would arrive in the dressing room and all of that stuff. And again, I had the good fortune of being there from all of it. Like him going out to read-in week, the first time he did read-in week. So we send him off with someone from our office, and they give Ricky, there's a bunch of books they either give or take, and they give him the hockey sweater. Now, I'm sure Ricky knew maybe that ice hockey was played. But he sure didn't know who Maurice Richard or Rocket Richard, as he called him to the kids.
Richard.
Oh, Rocket Richard.
And so early, like maybe first year, second year, we get him tickets to go to an Oilers game. And he comes back in the next day, and I'm like, "Hey, Rick, what did you think of the Oilers game? Like, had you ever been?" And he's like, "No, but I have a couple of questions." I said, "Okay." He goes, "About ice hockey." I said, "Okay, I would stop you there. Stop." And I would say this to Americans. I say, in Canada, we understand there's ice. You don't have to explain it. We just say hockey, and we got it. Okay, we don't play grass football or turf football. Just do it, right? He's like, "Oh, okay." I said, he goes, "I wonder, can you explain to me why they pass it around and why they just don't keep shooting?" I said, "Well, why don't you just throw it to the end zone?" And he kind of thought, and we sort of went, "Well, see?" Rick, it's not as easy as it looks. Hey, you know. But he was wonderful, and I've had chances to obviously the 75th and some other stuff in his to stay in touch with Rick, and I interviewed him after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, or prior, just after he was named. And when you get to work with someone who's athletically as blessed as he was and talented, and also the kind of person he was, and getting to know Allison, his wife, and that is a cherished relationship, and to be there right from ground zero is very cool, and sadly to have to write the release of the trade. I remember that morning very well, and again, I hope I'm not repeating, but I was sitting in the office. Len Rhodes had just taken over. Rick Lawlisher was away. It's Len's show now, and we're freshly installed in that what is, I don't know how many years they've been in Commonwealth Stadium, but in those new offices at the time. And I'm at my desk, and the landline, so I'm dating myself, rings, and it's Dave Naylor. And Naylor goes, who I know very well and have a relationship with, and he said, "I'm hearing you've traded Ricky Ray." Now, I had just been informed by who is our general manager, Eric Tillman.
Yeah.
But again, Eric had not come and given me sort of the face-to-face, but had, I'm aware now that this trade has happened. And so I said, Dave, I'm nodding. My head is nodding up and down. I'm not going to verbally confirm, but I just know that my head is not going up and down as you say this. I'm hanging up now. And he ran with it. But I also, know that Dave was probably working off inside information, let's say, that deal had gone down. And then I had to call Rick. And he goes, "Well, I still haven't heard from anybody from the club." I said, "Well, okay." He said, "I know we no longer work together. Like, you're an Argo and I'm an Eskimo. But if I can help in any way, manage the flow of calls or whatever, like if you just need a, space, I can work on my end to buy you some time." So
Dave, it kind of muted and then didn't.
And he was gracious, obviously upset, it hurt him. And then off he went, and as the record shows, he still had good football in him.
He did.
Really good football.
Although now I know what I'm going to ask him the next time I see him is like, "Hey, can you pronounce Rocket Richard for me?" Can you read me?
Did you ever read your kids The Hockey Sweater? But that was obviously an incredible day.
Yeah.
I still remember, again, it all comes kind of rushing back to you. Ed Hervey and Kavis Reed came roaring up down the hallway and swung my door open. It looked like a scene in a sitcom, where they open the door and they're, and they're like, "Is it true?" Because they've clearly seen on the ticker that this deal has gone down. And did we know the details right off the bat that it was Grant Shaw and it was Stephen Giles and a pick?
Yeah.
Because there were at the time, it was like, well, maybe, God, wouldn't it be great if we got Bashar Livingston?
Right.
Remember the kick returner? Like, wouldn't it be awesome? Because he started with us.
Yeah.
Right. And then it ended up in Toronto. And so, I've told this or used this sort of analogy. Eskimo fans were like that kid, what's the old, almost like a fable, I guess, where the kid under the Christmas tree is looking through the pile of manure going, "There must be a pony in here somewhere." So they're like, "Well, there's got to be more." Like, where's, like, there's no Bashar Livingston. There's no what, like, that's it. And like, Grant Shaw's an awesome guy. Like, he really is. And I had to phone him that morning because okay, now Ricky's gone that way, and the media. And back then, guys, as you know, there were a lot of people following the team. You know, you
Yes.
had how many television stations? Both papers, and both papers were double teamed. Radio, you know, you were overrun, and then you got out of market stuff. So people want to talk to Edmonton kid returning home as part of the biggest CFL trade in recent memory. So it's Grant Shaw. I'm like, oh, God. So I got to get Grant Shaw's number, you know, work with my colleague in Toronto. I think it was Beth Waldman at the time. Hey, can you get me Grant's cell? I've never met him. I phone. How did I get it? I called. Did I get a? He was working. And I think like installing cabinets or doing something like a real job. And I'm like, hey, Grant, I know you're busy, but people kind of want to talk to you. And, you know, you're the kicker in the trade for the biggest CFL star, the CFL quarterback, certainly.
Right.
You know, I know you don't do a lot of this, but it's showtime. You know, if I can help you, what, you know, can like, and that's the truth. It was same with Stephen Giles. Hey, I know you're quiet. You know, and in his case, what do you have, a partially torn rotator cuff when he showed up?
Yeah.
You go, hey, there's a lot of interest. I can't undersell it to you.
Right.
You know, you're part of the big deal, man. People want to know your thoughts.
Oh,
Oof, that is hard to like. How do you go from essentially like not nothing? That's a cruel word to use, but like that shot into like the stratosphere of like all spotlights on you, and you're like, you're the reason Ricky's gone, kind of thing. Like,
which is,
I don't.
it's unfair because the players have no, you know, say in where they go. They are, you know, pieces in a business transaction. But yeah, it was, and Grant, you know, he was great, and I always found him to be, you know, very insightful and a really good guy to deal with. But it was a tough, not an easy thing to walk into.
Yeah, for sure.
Jeez.
For sure.
My word.
Yeah.
Well, like Jaimo, you've seen so many renditions of this team. And you have that insider knowledge of like watching them grow. I mean, you just said it with Ricky Ray. It's so weird to hear these stories because that's when I was assimilated into the CFL when Ricky Ray was actually a thing. And so I'm like, what do you mean he was like fourth runner up? Are you crazy? Right? Like I'm looking back knowing what I know, and it's insane. But when we look at the present day team, are there any reflections of teams of old that you really see are kind of similar, even like mirror images of each other to this team?
Well, I think, you know, and again, you guys are probably watching even more closely than I am in terms of, you know, day in, day out roster moves and style, if you will. And if I'm reading it correctly, J.C. Sherritt, Mark Killam, Ed Hervey, because he goes out and finds the people. It's an aggressive defense. Like I get that sense, right? From the back end, but up front, they're getting after you. And it's hard to draw a comparison because the teams I'm talking about are very long time ago. But you guys remember like that 03 team up front defensively. Some of they were not nice people. You know, they're great guys, and when I say that, and in football terms, that's a compliment.
Yes.
When I say he's a bad dude, he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
And because his job is to go and, you know, I say inflict pain, but you know what I'm saying, like to do a job that is very, very difficult. It involves a high level of violence, and he's really good at it. And that's a compliment. And so I see some of those, you know, those qualities, you know, because when I think of the teams that I was around, I think the 02, 03, 04 didn't end obviously the way it should have, you know, never put the ball in the hands of Sean Fleming, as we used to say. I mean, put it on the foot of Sean Fleming, but don't require Sean to, set up and throw a tight spiral to the shortest player on the field. I don't know if that's a smart move. 05 was obviously magical because of how it unfolded, right? There shouldn't have been, let alone in the final game, they probably shouldn't have made it out of McMahon.
Right.
Let alone going into BC the next week and beating the Lions who were hosting. And they were a really good Lions team, but they didn't. But that 02, 03, 04, I mean, just lump all of that era in. There were obviously Vaughn and Tucker and Hervey, and so there's going to be a bit of an air show. But those defenses, again, bad men.
Yep.
Doing good things.
AJ Gass, Singor, Mobley. There was no. Yeah.
We did a thing for Terry Vaughn. We had a luncheon for Terry the day before his Wall of Honor induction.
Okay.
And they had me MC it in the alumni room. Just brought people in, guys who were in town, and obviously Terry. And I had some stats that I had, pulled, and obviously Brian Desjardins. He's the smart guy here. I just read. Edmonton, highest scoring team, most penalties, and as I said at the time at the podium, most of those to AJ Gass. But we were a heavily penalized. We were tough team, and good, and knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think in that line of work that it's okay to know you're good or great. In fact, I think it's necessary.
Right.
100%.
Believe in yourself 100%.
Yeah. And they were unshakable. Like I remember again saying, because I'd be down like either in the room or almost always in the room for the start, and then head up to the press box or wherever I was happened to be going. And thinking as the guys are lining up and going to go out for the introductions, going, those other guys are not winning tonight. Because if you look back at that 03 team, again, Mike, I keep deferring to you on, they had chunks of 5 wins.
Yeah.
Broken up by a loss, and not a bad one, but just a loss. Yeah. And then rip off another 3 wins, and just chunks of success in a long season.
Yeah, 13-5. It was a killer team. First place.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, if you're drawing comparisons to that, I'm very happy.
And again, early, and I don't know. Yes, and here's the thing: I'm doing this without the knowledge of the people. And I used it earlier. Unless you're there, you're not there. So I don't know. I can immediately go. I remember what Singor Mobley was like on game day.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Really unpleasant until the game ended, and if it was successful, he was a joy to be with. Ed Hervey, same thing. Because I knew the personalities involved intimately, and so for me to go, again, I just sort of visually, how do they play? How does it look? But again, unless you're in that room and you can kind of see how the group is coming together, it does seem like they're they've got each other's back.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I certainly take that away from it as well. We talked a bit about the men who are coaching and how good the team looks on paper, and the improvements we're seeing there. We're all familiar of the reputational hit that this club has had in the last, since the early 20s. So that stuff doesn't get onto paper as easily. What do you think is behind some of the reputational changes? We know why they're playing better. How is the club, in your view?
Well, they are doing, and it's a really, it's an important question you've asked, right? I think it's. So we'll go to the name change, and I was in the media at TSN at the time it happened, and I was privy to the process that they undertook to arrive at a place where the name was changed to Edmonton Elks ultimately. And it was under Len Rhodes. Alan Watt was very intimately involved in all of it and making the trips north to consult, listen, do the listening tours, and try and understand better what was, what the name meant. And so I wasn't, but I remember having a conversation with Alan at the time, and I said, a lot of these things, you have to think of them in the context of the larger world at the time. And of course, you guys know the Redskins were they were under a lot of heat. There were a lot of things happening in society, the larger world. And I went, I don't know how long you're going to be able to hold off. Okay. Because the Indians then became the Guardians. You guys know all of what was happening in the world. And I, when I went back to in 2024 to co-chair that 75th season and write the dinner scripts and the videos and co-host the night, I remember saying to Evan Daum at the time, and Alan was still sort of consulting, I said, I am not going to introduce, because I was doing the interviews on stage with the legends. I am not introducing Warren Moon as an Edmonton Elk. Okay. Because I think it's offensive to him on a personal level, but also to the men in the room and their families to try and, if you will, whitewash for this night, because we're there to celebrate 75 years of this franchise, the history of it from 1949 on, which we did. And they agreed. I said, because I won't do it. Like, I'll write this, but I'm not going to be the guy that has to dance around this to make it palatable for an audience that was largely, wanted the name back. Right. So anyhow, all of that said, so, Linda, yes, they've obviously suffered, reputationally, it's damaged the brand, but the name is now 7 years in the past. So we're getting into a time where there are young people who, as they're coming of age and going to the games or whatever, that are going to start going, they were called the Eskimos.
Right.
When all of this went down, I had on my show on TSN, I interviewed, sorry, I'm just going to cough.
Okay.
I interviewed the gentleman who was responsible for changing the Washington Bullets to the Washington Wizards. Okay. And in the NBA, for those who don't follow the NBA. And now the Bullets were not, they weren't successful. They weren't like a iconic franchise that won a lot or won at all, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they were an NBA champion. They're not like the Eskimos had at that point. How many was it? 14?
Yes.
Before they made the change? Or
14.
Yes.
14?
Yeah.
Okay, so pedigree, legacy, iconic, all those other words. And so this guy he was in a professor in sports business, whatever. Anyhow, he was fascinating discussion. And he said exactly that. It goes, Wizards fans, and it was hard for them. And the Bullets was kind of a cool name, but it was connected to gun violence in Washington, D.C. and, a bunch of other stuff. And they went, we got to move off this thing. So they did. And but it took time for it to be sort of rinsed through. Now, fine for the Wizards or Bullets. Different kind of thing here, because the afterlife of the Edmonton Eskimo name and heritage is deep. When I moved into, so in 2024, when I went back, I moved for like the last sort of 5 months of the season. I was on a different contract because the work on 75 had wrapped up, and I was about to walk out of the building, and Lawler said, "Got a minute?" And I worked with him for a long time. You're in trouble, or he had an idea. Right. And if it was an idea, it was, oh, hey, this may be cool, or wow, Rick, that's strange. Like, I don't know if we can, but he said, can you run service tickets and customer service for this time, get us to the end of the year? I said, sure. Well, I'm not from that part of the world, but I know the language, and I talked to a lot of season seat holders, and they're those who I was able to chat with on the phone, and it's always better in a phone call than an email. Yeah, there was a sting. Sure, there was a sting over the name change. How many they lost, I'll never really know.
Sure.
I mean, they may, I'm not privy, and it's not my job to tell you that, 20,000 people didn't renew or whatever it is. But there is just a slow drip. And again, all of this happens, back to my comment about context, against, all of what was happening out in the world, more large than what's happening here. There was great pressure internally. The mayor at the time, Bel Air Direct, Boston Pizza, on we go, change the name. Name is changed. And then the team gets bad.
Yeah.
And then there's COVID. And then there's hire Chris Presson, someone I met once. I don't know if he would have been good or not, doesn't matter. And then on we go to Victor Cui. And then decisions are made to devalue the devalue tickets, right? I mean, what was it? Kids under 12 free?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Football is not minor league baseball. You don't have frequency. You get 10 occasions. I used to say to people, we are a mattress store that opens 10 times a year.
Sure.
We got to sell a lot of mattresses.
Yeah.
And it was like, I said, we're only open. Yeah, we're 24/7, 365. We've got a website. Good for us. But we do business 10 times at home.
Right.
Wow.
That's a lot of pressure to maximize. And, you're up against weather and, all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Edmonton's a city of 1 million plus. You guys know.
Mm-hmm.
It's, and the fractured media landscape. And everything on all the options that are available to us make it really hard. And also, when they have left, it doesn't mean just because you're 5-1 they come storming back.
Sure doesn't.
Right.
Nope.
They'll come. Got to manage your expectations.
Yep.
Let's fill the lower bowl or get it. Like I remember telling my staff when I was there in 24 in the sales team, I said. And it was, I guess it would have been the rematch. And we knew like we were pulling tarps up or what we on the lower bowl because we obviously closed the upper. And I said, guys, I know all of you are busy. We're all running. It's a long night. Please take some time just to go out somewhere in the stadium, in the seats, sit, watch, and drink in the feel of what this place is like on a great night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just and for those because they didn't know any. I mean, some of the older ones, and there weren't many, didn't know anything other than losing, people angry about the name, small crowds.
Yeah.
I said, this is what it can be. It's not going to be easy. Just again, Labor Day rematch is a special kind of thing, special animal. But just understand. It does take time, and I'm sure they're learning it now, and I'm sure Chris Morris is learning it as well. The football side has upheld their part of the bargain.
Yeah. And now they have to build on the rest, right?
Yeah. And again, it's hard work.
Yeah,
like it's not, and you guys will get it. It's not a really cool fridge magnet.
Hey, now.
Right?
We love a good fridge magnet.
Hey, I knew you guys. But it's a whole bunch of stuff happening at once. And it's hard to get people's attention in 2026.
100%.
Yeah, I think for me, one of the worst part was when Presson and Sunderland took over. Was right when the name was changed, and they pulled down all references to the teams of the past, not the name, but they had the banners in the concourse.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And then they had on the outside of the stadium, there was giant
Yeah.
Mhm.
of Warren Moon and Gizmo, and all of them were gone. All of a sudden, it's like the history of the team, which is what we all soak in, is knowing that we were the 5 in a row team. We had the 50s with Jackie Parker and Johnny Bright, Rolling Miles, and Raekwon. And all of a sudden, it's like, no, we can't talk about that anymore. We can't revel in these things. And that was just one more nail in that coffin. And it's,
Yeah.
like you say, it's tough. You were there for what I consider the greatest crowd in CFL history in the 2003 Labor Day rematch. 6,444 people. It was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything that electric.
It really, in my mind, I can go there quickly and remembering, having to hustle from the media center,
right,
to get to the dressing room or at halftime to go down and check and do the stuff I needed to do.
Yeah.
And you're wading through people. Like the concourse was not, and I guess if you've been to a concert, but it's crowded in a different way for a concert, obviously. And just thinking, man, there's nothing bigger in the country.
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest crowds in sports, certainly the week that, we were playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is a special memory for sure. And you think, oh God, could we get back to that? I don't know. I don't know if the CFL has that horsepower.
Right.
But and then your mind wanders. Imagine if Commonwealth were 30,000 seats, like a new Commonwealth, and what would that feel like? But that's for, I won't be alive for that. But you go there. You sometimes.
Well, Friday night was sure fun. It was reminiscent. It was loud. It was exciting. It was funny. It was
all the things.
Yeah, it reminded me, and I watched the game from the alumni room, and those guys, it's a tough crowd up there, as you might imagine.
Yeah.
But you could see them invigorated.
Sure.
Because they're looking out, the pride. I'll take you guys back to I'm taking you right behind the curtain on this one. So what year was it? Alan Watt invited, it was in his time, I think the interim after the changes were made, and there was a period there. It was Ian Murray. It was the board chair. I think Tom Richards was there as well, and Alan Watt. And they asked the alumni to come in early evening one night, very cold night, like it was bitterly cold. It just let's just say it's January, okay, just for argument's sake. So we all troop in from the alumni members, and we had guys who were not alumni members but are in town, and it was an opportunity for guys to ask questions of the leadership of the club in the moment, like how we were feeling. I said we, my opinion it's the players, like they're the ones who laid it out for this club or the colors. And I could tell you it got rugged in that conversation.
I bet.
Okay? And there was some raw emotion from people who felt, that the club obviously had fallen on very tough times, and they were asking hard questions. And this was in advance. I don't know if Victor Cui had been announced or was soon to come. Okay. And so it was, but trying to find out, take the pulse, if you will, of the alumni. And it was a tough night for those on the club side.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Because as you can imagine, guys like Trent Brown, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And I love Trent Brown. It's hard to believe, right? Like that Trent would hold back on an opinion. No. Guys like Tim Princeton, Jed Roberts, they're again, bad man on a football field. They got to be the very best in the business doing what they did because they have certain characteristics and qualities, and they're forthright, and they've earned that right. And so it was a night where let's just say there was a robust discussion.
I can imagine. the best part of this though is as we talk about this is that we're starting to come through the other side, and like you
Yes.
said, Linda, you're starting to feel like that energy is starting to come back, and the team I think is doing the right things to make that come back. They have the right, I feel they have the right leadership in place to make that to want that feeling and to put in the work you were talking about, Jaimo.
Absolutely. Again, I shouldn't have maybe use it. The adults are in the room, but it feels like it's the grown-ups are here now.
Right.
And that goes, like let's take it, it's under private ownership now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of the things I know in my time that we could call on was, hey, we're community owned. And when I say call on, when we're working with media partners or whomever, vendors, whatever, remember we're community owned. And so you could tug on those heartstrings. And that was fine. I mean, that was all understood. We're a community owned football team. I mean, God, and therefore there really was sort of, wrapping your arms around Edmonton, and Edmonton showed you the love back. Well, now it's private business.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But it still, requires, because of what it is, that the public buy in. And I think, with the work they're doing in the community and the outreach that they do, and they've always, it's been a mandate. It's been a foundational piece of the club probably since it started, that it would be very much not just here to entertain, but also here to give back, uplift, all of the things you would hope that an organization like this would do. Well, they're doing it in abundance now. And, with the camps they're doing, they're broadening their footprint, I think, in the community realm. And so they're doing a lot of things right. And I think now they're getting rewarded for it. And, hopefully that'll lead to bigger crowds, obviously.
Yeah, well, that is the hope. That is the hope.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about Friday night, because I do want to talk about Friday night, we get to play this one again.
Woohoo! Game recap.
That's right. As we said, 5-1 Edmonton Elks as they take down the Lions 19-17. Well, I say take down. It was kind of back to the high stress games as the Elks defense found a way to hang on for the 1917 win. Lots to talk about in this game, of course, and I know our friends BC Lions Den and our BC Lions friends are going to say, well, Rourke went down on the second play, and who knows if the game is different out of that. But I thought the defense had an amazing game, and there's lots of other storylines we can go with. Dave, you're watching from the alumni room. What jumps out at you in this game?
What jumped out at me initially was I didn't know Rourke had been injured.
Okay.
I looked up and I thought, well, maybe they were running a short yardage, and who's Chase Bryce and what is going on? And I'll confess, watching in the alumni room, it's great to be around, people I've known for a long time. Not always the best place to truly follow a game.
Fair.
And football for me demands, like, I got to pay attention. Like because of, and it's funny for someone who worked in it for so long, and I would tell people, I can speak football. I can understand on a level what has happened or happening or might happen, but the minutia, the line play, and all of what's happening in there, it's hard. And so I didn't kind of grasp what was happening. And when I was on Edmonton Sports Talk earlier this week, and so how the question was phrased, it was like, with the Elks and how they're playing. And I said, it feels like the offense is constipated. Because when you look at not only, Cody Fajardo, but what he has to work with, I just feel like it could be or should be more explosive. And that's, yes, I understand. There's Justin Rankin.
Yes.
But it just feels like there's something like they're driving with the foot on the brake a little bit.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I can totally get behind that. Linda, what did you see in the game? Oh, you're still muted. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I saw that as well. I did not like a lot of the offensive play calling, and almost nothing for second down was a win in my books. I was very annoyed at the penalties again, but I was just as annoyed at the ones that weren't called.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It did not seem to be a very balanced game in terms of penalties. And I had my eye on Cephas, and it seemed like it was the right night to watch him. So I was having mostly a good time.
Oh, fantastic. Commissioner?
Well, take this into consideration when you talk about Joshua and Justin. So I had Justin as my captain for fantasy. If I had Joshua as my captain, I would have had more points.
Yeah.
So take that with how you will, but that is, we knew going in, the BC Lions have an excellent rush defense, and they proved it once again. However, a lot of the times, I still get annoyed, like you, Linda, with some of that play calling right up the center over and over and over. And then you throw in a lateral and it works, and then you abandon it. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a professional, though. I just sit here and talk about football. But I feel it again. It was more lopsided, maybe on the penalties, like you said, Linda, but more so just so this defense carried that team. This defense deserved the win. I can't say that this team didn't deserve the win, because the defense put in everything they could to get us that W. So all credit to them. But this offense, they are going to be tested very well over the next couple of weeks. And we know what they are capable of. I just don't know how they are going to achieve what they can. And I think that's the most frustrating part.
That's fair.
Yeah. So,
we know we can get there. We know they can get there. They can get there.
Especially when you, for the first play at a touchdown, you're like, so this is achievable.
Yep.
Oh, don't have to get two outs all the time. It just like, it's so, I leave scratching my head a lot. Like, what, why? Why?
That's a lot of W's. Superfan.
Yeah, I think that, and Coach Killam talked about this in the post game. Sometimes it's one phase's time to rise up and win the game for the rest of the team. And this was the defense's turn. Not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time they're going to be called upon to do that. And I was just impressed by the improvement of that team. Sure, Rourke went down on the second play of the game, but that defense still stood tall. And 4 more interceptions, that gives us 10 in the last 3 games. We talked about it during the game. It just seemed like no matter who was in at quarterback, we were going to. I mean, the second play of the game was a sack with Rourke in there. So I loved seeing that. I just loved seeing the improvement, especially in that run defense, because we played BC a couple of weeks prior and they ran all over us. James Butler had a career against us, like he always seemed to. And this time, what do you have? 7 yards? 3 yards? I think he had 3 yards.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic. So if the offense could have maybe got something going, I mean, we were leading 19-7 in the fourth quarter, but then didn't score anything. And then they scored, 10 points. So,
right.
Yeah. Had they,
closer than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they were tired at that point too. And we also had the fumble. Fortunately, they only turned that into 3 points, but I even thought the touchdown in the first quarter was very penalty. Without all those penalties, I think this is maybe shut out in the first half, and we're just win this going away, as we should have probably. But Was it the greatest game? No, but for the defense, I think it was an incredibly strong outing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree, and especially again, we're dealing with injuries again. Carter O'Donnell goes down, so all three of our starting the middle of the offensive line has gone down, and in comes rookie Chris Pashula, who, I mean, he did well. Don't get me like he didn't.
He didn't stand out, which is what you want.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly what I was just going to say. And we have a couple of rookies in there. Gavin Meyer, his very first play in the CFL is a tip that goes up and he intercepts it, and he's a defensive lineman. Like, who would have called that? Not me. And I was very happy to see how he played the rest of the game. So there was bright spots. And I just, like you said, the finish just wasn't there. And Mark talked about it a little bit, just the having to work on that red zone efficiency. There are only 33%, 1 for 3 in this game. And it could have been a big issue, but the defense made sure that it wasn't.
And their second down production was terrible. 6 converted out of 19.
Yeah, like just
that's awful.
Yeah. It is awful. And I know after the game, I didn't want to bait Killer about it, but I was trying to ask him about how do you deal with the penalties? And his face just kind of said like, fix auto. That's what it said. Like, I was like, okay, so yeah, sorry. But it was it was a tough one. Last thing I just want to bring up is Blanchard missed his first of the season, but he still went 4 for 5 in the game.
50+ yarder.
Yeah, and he's 18 for 19 on the year, which is 95%. I am not going to complain when he does a 52 yarder and just misses it. Like, okay, like, I believe Fleming missed a few in his career, and he was a fairly good kicker from what I'm told. So it's just I said that just for Mike's benefit. All right, Mike, do you have an update on the Rankin file?
I do.
Oh, it's the Rankin file. All right, Mike.
Believe me, that whole game I just sat there and going, "Oh, I'm going to figure this out because this has to knock him out." So as people know that have been following the show, we've been sort of tracking the on pace what Rankin's got for the end of the season, because there's been a lot of talk about Justin Rankin going 1,000 and 1,000, being the first running back or first anyone to go 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. He only had 9 yards on the ground, and that was only because that one 13-yard rush, because he was at negative at that point.
Correct.
He is still on pace. He was on pace for a record, a team record of 1847. Now, because of that, he's on pace for 1566. Okay. Not a record, but still, 1,500 yards is an impressive rush for anyone. Receiving, he had 46 yards on 6 catches. Again, 6 targets, 6 catches, and all of those yards were yards after the catch. But he is still on pace for 1,029. So
wow.
As it stands now, if he can be fairly average over the last 12 games, he could easily, because that's not bad. 343 yards catching right now, or receiving right now.
That's a third into the season.
Yeah, 660. So we're talking about 50, just a little over 50 yards a game receiving, and he will have 1,000 yards receiving. And I've got to think he's already over halfway there for 1,000 yards rushing. So
yes,
absolutely. That's I love.
That's the other thing is he's still on pace for 18 touchdowns, which would tie the team record.
Who has the record?
Jim Germany, 1981.
Okay, yeah,
that's for Edmonton.
The guy we just signed. Yeah,
and then 2000 for the CFL record, Mike Pringle, 19.
Right.
So it's it's kind of funny because he didn't have that the cheat code game like we were used to seeing, but we know there's more of those coming. So
we can't play BC anymore. So
that's true. Yeah. I think that's what Cody said after the game. The good thing is we don't have to play BC again until maybe the playoffs. That's I like that.
That's optimistic on their part. Yeah,
that is very true. Yes. Okay, Superfan, are you ready to delight us with some Horde and Tell?
I think I can do that.
Oh, it's very exciting. Here we go.
It's time for Horde and Tell.
All right.
There he is, Superfan.
There it is. So last week we talked about this little guy here, the koozie you can get at Popeye's Chicken. That was ended with the Cody Fajardo one on Sunday. So this week, we've got Austin Mack.
Nice.
If you're looking for the Austin Mack, you've got 2 weeks until the 2nd of August to pick up one of these. The next one starts on the 3rd of August, and that will be Tyrell Ford. So once we're there, we're halfway through the promotion. So go on down. It's, I think, $5. You have to spend $5 there. So $10, you can have a chicken sandwich and get yourself a little koozie. So
is that what you got again?
Oh, yeah. Always.
Oh, yeah. Extra pickles.
That's right. Just load them up with all the pickles there. I picked up something recently, and it sort of made me think, like, one thing that features at every game and is sort of sometimes forgotten about outside of the game are the mascots. Of course, we've got Hunter and Anook, formerly Spike. We've had a lot of guys. The Esky Moose, people might remember. We had the A&W Root Beer, Ipsco Goose. But I picked these up.
Oh, Gooch! Wow, that's a different. That's a totally different guy that
your
runs
nickname
out
in
on
high school. So I picked these up, and I don't know if I can quite see them there.
I love the seal.
There we go. Andrew should have pictures of it there. You can.
There we go.
Yes,
CJ Seal.
CJ Seal, and that was sort of the 1990s, 92ish, 91, somewhere in there. But that's not all that CJ had. We also had a lovely set of trading cards. There's CJ Elvin.
Look at this stuff.
Oh,
there's a lovely CJ at Santa. Oh, that's not enough.
Oh no.
There is the masked Zorro CJ. There's the Dick Tracy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the Phantom of the CJ. Oh, sorry, that's the Zorro. There we go.
There we go.
And if you're really, really, really lucky, sometimes you can get some lovely hugs and kippers.
My.
Oh, look at that. Britt Reynolds should be so lucky.
Wow. Hugs and
kippers. CJ Seal.
Oh my goodness me.
When do they bring CJ back for a game? That would be the greatest thing.
That would be.
CJ was so funny. It was the first mascot that I remember. Like Calgary was in town, and he'd have like the stuffed horse, and he'd run and dive on it, and it was just
Hunter still does that. Yeah,
it was so like it just set that trend, right? He was hilarious. Yeah.
So hopefully, I mean, no, they do have the stuffed punter that you can buy at the team store, and I think there's been in a Nook. There's been a few different punter items, but world's greatest baked potato. But I think they should do more with that. The kids love him. T-shirts I've seen of other things before. They need to bring more of that sort of thing back. A set of trading cards for the kids for the Knothole Club. I think those would go great, especially if you can get that big mid of his to sign it. I think it'd be a really cool addition.
Amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Superfan. That was excellent as always. Love it. And Jaimo, Mike found this picture just for you so that you can remember.
Look at that.
Just put a backpack on that guy, and it's there he is.
You can see he is number 15 in training camp. That's Leon Murray beside him.
And we are at the U of A. And we are at the U of A.
And this is actually before Bart Hendricks. Bart was the guy that came in afterwards, after Murray was gone. And Keith Smith was the supposed to be the second string.
The Legend of Seven.
Yeah, and he
There
was
is
injured.
there is a documentary on Keith, and I learned about this from Jason Johnson.
Nice.
Because, and you guys, I'm sure, have seen the Jason Johnson doc that he did on the quarterbacks. Have you? Okay, you've seen that one. And he said, Keith Smith, out of the blue. Remember, you played down in Boise, right, with the blue field.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was sort of unaware that there's this Keith Smith legend. I knew he'd been in Regina, that's right. God, Keith Smith, there's a great memory.
Yeah, injured for 2 seasons and never played.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
my.
tough.
Now, Jaimo, if you liked the Horde today, you haven't been here for one of the most exciting new segments on the Turf District podcast.
True.
Which is called First Down This Beer.
First down this beer.
All right. Now, Jaimo, we can't set it up any better than that. All right, Linda.
All right. Well, as we've talked about, the lions were here, and so was everybody's dogs. So we had literally cats and living with dogs all over the place. And it was a beautiful night, and we know how it ended. And so next up, Saskabush. And one of the best breweries in Saskatchewan right now is Nokomis. Nokomis Brewing, which took over from Pile of Bones Brewing in Regina a few years ago. In this, they've collaborated with Sea Change from Edmonton on a new table beer. So, see, fancy name, table beer. So, a table beer is usually a lower alcohol brew designed for easy drinking, sessionable, and really easy for meal pairing. Anything you eat at the watch party at first round on Thursday would go with that. Mm-hmm. However, seeing as Coors Light is the sponsor, maybe you should just order Coors Light. Table beer originated in medieval Europe, and it meant like a small beer, and it was usually brewed from the second runnings of a stronger mash. So they make a good, robust beer, and then they run it through again. And it was about sanitation and health and hydrating, because the water supply was dangerous. And so a table beer would be served to everybody at the dinner table, including children and servants, simply as a source of sustenance and hydration. Wow. So this one is, it's crisp. It's pretty light. You'll see that.
I'm not drunk. I'm hydrated.
Exactly.
That's a great sell line.
I need that T-shirt. Yeah, I need
that. Is
that.
Great in a cup. Really, that is great cup.
Yeah. So it's crisp. It's sessionable. It's only 2.9% ABV, and it's a Belgian style pale ale. And it features Saskatchewan grown hops and farmhouse yeast. And because of the Belgian-y bit, you might get a bit of light clove, and apparently Sicilian lemon, and I'm actually getting that. So whereas here they promote having a glass of the Sask, you can have a table beer from actual Sask and have the same benefits.
And Linda, available locally? I know we're watching all over, but
this one I got at Sherbrooke. But you do occasionally see Nokomis, because they're partnering with Sea Change, which is an Edmonton company. Yep. This one should be broadly available.
Nice.
Okay. So next up is, this is almost more of a personal thing, but I have with me How to Pretend You're a Normal Human Family IPA.
Oh my goodness me.
That's awesome.
Title of the podcast. Yeah.
Okay. So this is from Refined Fools Brewing in Sarnia, Ontario. And at the tailgate last week, I brought another one from this company. I bought two, not having tried them. And that one, you might recall, was called Kicked Out of Another Tickle Party West Coast Pale Ale. and it was really good. So I wanted to try this. So on Untapped, someone described how to pretend you're a normal human family IPA as middle of the road. So slightly bitter like a West Coast and slightly hazy like an East Coast. Notes of orange, grapefruit, and peach.
Ooh.
That sounds about right. And it's, oh, yeah, I could crush that. This is a 6% ABV. The brewery said that they named this beer as a protest to those perfect families who handpick only the best moments and share them on social media. And I'm going to read it because I thought it was funny. Look at us in our matching denim jumpsuits. The kids were thrilled to wear them. And here's our 4-year-old Tarquin doing his chores before he goes to volunteer at a retirement home. And he can also spell 73 words already. Blessed. So they say, settle down and show us the real Tarquin, picking his nose, grabbing a cat's tail, and throwing a tantrum because the Wi-Fi's down. So this is definitely a beer I can get behind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no what's up peaches, but it does sound pretty good. Yeah.
And so, speaking of picking noses, just a reminder, Saskatchewan's up next.
Yeah.
Edmonton, don't let that distract you. Trust they're going to play well, come out with a win. I'm not going to do the third beer because we've been here a while. But I think we can come out with a win. And so safe travels to the team and anyone going to watch. And we'll see you next week, hopefully with a victory to dissect.
Oh, I love it.
Well
Love
done.
it.
Linda, are you saving the third for next week, or are you just going to do a whole new segment? Because, if you're not going to tell us what it is at all, you should probably just tell us right now.
Yeah.
Well, all right, sure. This is Glow, Irish Red Ale from SYC Brewing in Calgary, in Edmonton, sorry. I'm not going to open it because I'm dumping it down the drain. But it is apparently smooth, malty, easy to enjoy. And I brought it because a lot of the people on the pod seem to be like an Irish Reds these days. And this is just another one that we can add to our list to try. And it would pair with a lot of good things when we're tailgating. And it is it's a 5%er, so straight middle of the road Irish Red.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm totally looking that up. That sounds amazing. Yeah,
We had in the chat, Cliffy was asking, can you mix both beers and pretend to be normal at a tickle party?
Yes, Cliffy, I think we can.
Outstanding.
Yeah, especially when you're in Montreal. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Oh my, that's a good one. Also title of the podcast. Okay, let's get into this week's game, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the game preview.
All right, it's an exciting one. It is the first of a home and home series with the Rectangle Riders, and it's very exciting that it's always great to have a Thursday night game, right? I'm driving out there to go to this game. Thank you to my friend Dawn at Third Down Gamble for offering a ticket and for having me on their show this week to talk about it. So
Nice.
That's exciting. But it is I'm very, very excited. It's one of the 2 stadiums I have left to see in the league. So
Nice.
I am excited to take that in and see some Saskatchewan friends and hang out. So it'll be a long day of driving and football for me on Thursday, but that's okay. It's going to be fun. Now, this is a huge series in this home and home because the winner will hold first place in the West. Edmonton goes in with the highest record, so now we're going to see kind of best on best in the West as it has been so far. I guess the biggest question is, what do the Elks have to do to find a win against the reigning Grey Cup champs? Jaimo, I'm going to start with you again.
Establish Rankin early. get him engaged, and by engage, it can be running and catching. But given what's happened, against BC, you'd like to get him back to getting the kind of results that he's had when he's been at his best. However, they are diminished in the O-line, so that's going to present its own challenges. And again, I go back to kind of what I've seen, with at least sort of a distant view of the offense. I'd want to see him push it, and go hard. Now, Saskatchewan, given the events of what's happened in the last few days, and with Jaden Dahlke's passing, the crowd, the players themselves. I mean, it's going to be a heavy evening, or at least the start. Okay.
Yep.
Just once they get playing, they're playing. And I mean, look, it's a competitive venture. Can you capitalize on whatever the riders may be feeling in that, because they can go a couple of ways. They can come out, playing for the memory of a teammate, and that's, powerful. Or do they come out sort of overwhelmed by all of what is likely going to be, the feeling in that stadium?
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton, needs to strike, I think, early.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which sounds simple. Gee, Dave, that's easy. If it was that simple, we do it every game. I understand how difficult it is, and Saskatchewan's a good team, well coached, all of that. But I think, that there may be something there that Edmonton doesn't mean they run away with it, because that nobody seems to be able to do that in the CFL. And, kind of take it from, start to finish and win clean. It's always a struggle. It's always down to the last few minutes, which is great for fans and broadcasters. But it's, a fast, definitive start.
I would argue maybe that it's not great for fans. It's great for my pharmaceuticals, because I need a lot of blood pressure meds. Oh my God. But that's the only argument I'd make in that whole conversation. Superfan, what do you think?
I think we need to make Trevor Harris very uncomfortable in that pocket.
Yep.
He loves to have that, two-step drop and throw the ball. If we can make him have to hold on to it for another half second, maybe a second, and maybe make him get home, or even sack him or hit him right as he throws, I think it's going to go a long way. He's not going to be a big fan of it. He never has been. Wasn't it Almondo Sewell that talked about that? He takes a hit and he gets rattled. He didn't like that very much. But I think it's true. Like, no quarterback is like, oh, I love it when they hit me. So.
Michael Riley, maybe. Yeah.
Well, maybe he'd like
Dunnigan in the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dunnigan just loved hitting people. But I think that's it. Our defense just needs to be the excellent defense it is, and then the offense just has to come around. And even if they were average, if the defense can be as good as they can be, you could win this game another 19 points for the offense, and they could win the game. So I think that's what we need.
All right, Commissioner.
It's I think Dave and I share a brain, because literally word for word, get Rankin established early.
You don't want my brain. Trust me. You don't want your brain is real good on its own.
I don't think it is, actually. I think it needs some help. Those are all awesome comments. I think some of the things we really need to work on the offense is we can't keep consistently doing these 2 and outs. Like, no to the 2 and outs. Stop it. Do not do that anymore. Stop. We have to get this ball off quick, or Cody has to get this ball off quickly. That O-line needs to stand its ground very hard. That front 4 on the Saskatchewan, they're going to come flying. They're going to come hard. You have to keep Cody on his feet, and you have to get rid of that ball earlier, or sooner rather than later. Like, you need to be quick, and you need to be methodical against the Saskatchewan team. So that's that's kind of what I have.
Okay. I'd like to see some screen passes. Let the defense come hard, and then all of a sudden the ball's behind them.
Yep. Love it.
Like, a little more creativity on offense would be great.
Yes. Linda?
Well, on that theme, literally any play for second down that wasn't one we used on Friday.
Yes, please.
Okay. That's it.
And I'm always on penalty watch, throwing stink eye at whoever needs it. So
I'm hoping that we Mike pointed something out in that we have had Andre Prue and his crew for 4 of the 6 games.
Yes.
And the 2 refs in the middle really struggle with calling penalties both ways.
Judges,
Yeah. So I don't know if there's a grudge or I don't know what it is, but anyway, penalties is going to be a big deal in this game. I also think that like you guys said, the fast start, all those things are going to be important. But I really think that there's going to have to be the secondary is going to have to step up because the Saskatchewan receiving core is very, very good. I want to make sure that, they've been on a streak. Let's keep that streak going. Let's get another 3 interceptions and get the ball back in the hands of the offense. I do want to see that. But I think the biggest thing is you were talking about Jaimo there that, they're a little deep in their offensive line, and they need the full week with everybody practicing together,
right,
to be able to open those holes for Rankin, to be able to hold long enough to be able to get the ball in the hands of Austin Mack or Joshua Cephas. They're going to need, and for God's sake, could you please throw one over the middle with the guy running? I would like that. It tries the turnaround catch and then have to turn their body around to run. I get it works. Don't get me wrong, it has worked, but
possession receivers are
saying. I miss the days of the guy running and the ball comes over the middle and he's in full flight,
in stride,
and then like you talked about Terry Vaughn, that was a Terry Vaughn special, right? 6 yards out, put it right on him, and he'd turn it into 20. And yes. I would love to see some of that. So that's my little soapbox to get on. Which player are we watching in this game, Dave? If there's a player that you were focusing in on, who would it be?
Well, it's always going to be Rankin, I think, until he's no longer in Edmonton. I mean, it just because he's someone you can't and shouldn't take your eyes off.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Super fan.
Yeah, obviously for me, Rankin is always going to be number 1. But outside of that, whoever is going to be at that left guard spot, we don't know at this point if Carter O'Donnell is going to be back. Is it going to be a returning Brett Boyko? Maybe is it going to be? Are they going to shuffle things around? But those inside positions, since we do love to run it inside, is going to be very key for us, and I'd like to see who it's going to be.
100%. Linda.
Lake Day DeBlanco and JJ Ross.
I like that. Those are excellent picks, Commissioner.
I think you said one player, but I just want to watch the entire O-line on our side just to see like how they're going to stack up. So I can't name one. I want to watch all of them, and of course KJ, always KJ for me.
Of course, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Who doesn't love KJ? I mean, MOP him. Love it. This game, this is going to sound funny. I'm going to be watching Jake Julian. I think he had a little tougher game this last one. We're used to seeing that, almost 50-yard average, and it was like 45 or something. It wasn't awful, but it was out of sorts for Jake. And we kept getting the penalties on the returns and the cover teams, and I just want to see that cleaned up. So part of that is getting the good kick downfield to give them open space, and so I'm gonna be watching Jake in this game.
Ironically, his average was 49.4.
Was it? Oh, I thought it was lower than that.
Okay, a 59-yarder, and that really upped his average.
That up the okay, yeah. But there's a couple of like 30s.
Splits,
yeah, kind of twisty ones, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. He knows I love him. It's fine, but I still want him to do well. Okay, let's get to our pick'ems for this week.
You get a point, and you get a point, and you get a point. It's pick'em, it's pick'em, it's pick'em.
All right, so we have some great ones this week. First, I'm going to say, if you are watching, put your prop bet in the chat that we will pick one from to go on the Elks game, because of course we don't bet against the Elks here. So give us your prop bet and we will do that. Dave, because you're our guest, you will get to pick out of all of the selections.
Okay.
Prop bets, or you could make one up that you would like.
No, I'm going to choose. I'm going to stay to the script.
We're gonna have some fun. Okay. In the meantime, let's pick the other games. Starting with Calgary visiting Winnipeg. Linda. Oh, before we say who's, I'll give you the updated.
No, you don't. You really don't have to.
I think we do. So sitting in first place is Mike with 16 and 10.
Get out.
Then Kayla is 15 and 11 after a tough outing last week. Yep. Linda, you are at 12 and 14, and I am at 13 and 13, only because I was the only one that got the prop bet right last week. Rankin's average yards, the line was 6.2 and
1.3.
It was 1.3 rushing. Even if you combined his receiving, it was still 4.2. So the under one on that one. So, all right. This week, Calgary and Winnipeg. Go, Linda.
Go Bombers.
Wow. You're really on the Drew Brown train, I noticed. All right, excellent. Jaimo, who you got?
I'm going to go Calgary because I heard someone whose opinion I trust a great deal say that Calgary is better than the record, and so it feels like a week where I guess they deserved a better fate against Montreal, but the Alouettes are really good. I'm going to go in and go Stampeders, taking one on the road.
All right. Super fan?
Yeah, I also picked Calgary to win this one. I think that it was not a great game for Winnipeg. They finally came back in that fourth quarter. Calgary, I think, had a better outing against a better team, and I think they're smarting from that.
Yeah, that's fair. Commissioner?
Those bastards down south owe me big. So they better do it this week.
You're picking it again. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yes, I am also picking Calgary for just those. They hung in there with Montreal 2 weeks in a row. Winnipeg is not as not as good as Montreal in my opinion. So I'll go with Calgary. Toronto in BC. BC finally gets back into BC Place, and Toronto's in town to visit. Jaimo, who do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna go. I shouldn't because BC is, but it's my old hometown, and so I always feel a kinship with the Lions. Will they get a lift coming home? I believe so. They've been road warriors, and so coming back to BC Place with new turf will be kind of cool for them. I think they're going to take this.
Okay, super
fan. But it won't be easy.
Yeah, Toronto is, speaking of teams that are smarting from a loss, Toronto, that was a tough one. Yeah. I think they are going to be, again, very motivated to prove that last week was a fluke and that they are the real thing. And it's going to be super tough for Chase Bright. I think it's going to be Toronto.
All right. Commissioner?
I'm so tired of picking Toronto and then proving me wrong. So I'm picking BC because I'm spiteful.
No, Toronto's going to prove you wrong.
That's totally fair. I am picking Toronto in this one. I mean, Chase Bryce plays a role, definitely. But Chad Kelly's got to win so that then he can blame about his bad record about the World Cup. So now the World Cup's gone, so he can get in there and he'll win a game. Maybe, I don't know. Linda.
Well, on that note, you made me change my vote. Go Lions.
That's right.
And there's no way they'll be wearing those dirty laundry uniforms at home. So,
That must have been tough. Like between Edmonton and BC.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
tough.
not a good look.
Oh my.
The play-by-play guys are like, what did we do? What
Yeah.
did we? It's not our fault. Anyway, all right, Hamilton, under the the dynamic Trey Ford winning last week, going into Montreal to play the Alouettes at home. Superfan, what do you got?
Yeah. Toronto ain't the Alouettes. This is going to be, I don't think, even close. I think the Alouettes take it.
All right. At one point yesterday, the line was Montreal by 10.5.
Oh,
That seems fair.
Boy, yeah. Okay, Commissioner.
MTO.
Yep.
Yeah.
Figured. Me too. Linda.
Me also.
You
Montreal.
also?
Yeah, make
Okay.
it a clean sweep for me.
All right. Yeah, I kind of
Yeah,
figured that
that's
might be the
done.
case. So
Yeah.
I want to say it's an interesting one, but we'll see. All right. Mike, what do we have for prop bets in the chat?
Well, we have a few.
Okay.
Lots of opportunities for Jaimo to pick from. So we'll
Excellent.
throw
Okay.
them on the screen. First up, our good friend Daryl, who did stop by the tailgate, which was great at the last game, says prop bet total EE sacks.
Okay.
For Edmonton there.
Okay.
Our good friend Jerry on Vancouver Island
Mhm.
says number of rider turnovers. This is a hungry
Wow.
defense.
It is a hungry defense. Okay.
Our friend from just outside Edmonton there, Chris Agar, EE passing yards allowed. Let's see that secondary roll.
Oh man. Okay. That's a tough one, but okay, I'll take it. Okay.
To quote a famous margarine commercial from way back, it's not nice to fool Mother Nature. What time of the game is there a delay due to lightning strike?
Oh,
okay. No, we're not picking that. That's not okay. I'm gonna be there. Stop. No, I don't want any lightning or weather crap.
All right.
and I've been there in
Yeah, I
Regina
bet.
for one of those. Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because everyone's watching him, Jerry says total yards from scrimmage. So receiving and rushing. Ooh, could be a one.
Okay.
After the two of the last three games.
Okay.
Yeah.
Daryl McMahon, again, number of EE receivers with catches. How many different receivers catch the ball?
I like that.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Tim Capper out in Montreal. Mac receiving yards. Fleetfoot Mac.
Oh, well. Okay. Okay.
Daryl,
So many good
again.
options. Yeah.
Yeah. Daryl, we're going to skip with the total rainfall during game. And Ken Ludwig says Elks total offense. That's a tough one.
Total offense. Okay.
Okay. So you want me to make a decision after all of those?
That's
okay,
right.
I'm going to go sacks. Elk sacks.
Elk sacks. Okay.
I'm going to take 3 sacks.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get after it. And they should against Trevor Harris.
So do you want to set the line at 2.5 or 3.5?
I'll go 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you'll go over, obviously, because you're picking 3. Okay. Super fan.
This is the tough one. Again, I know he's going to get a lot of hurries for sure, but he does have that 2-step drop and throw. I'm going to go under.
Okay.
Picks, yes,
Commissioner?
but I think sacks too.
Yeah, that's.
Commissioner?
Oh, sorry. Under. Yeah, I'm thinking 2, but yeah, picks.
Okay.
We all get the picks.
Okay.
More picks.
Just for fun and games, I am gonna go over, like Jaimo said.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 3. Okay, Linda.
I'm over.
Oh, I like this. That was a good line, Jamo, because now we're all split. That's a good one. It's good when that happens. So that was excellent. It makes for more fun as we get into next week and we're telling about all of where we are at. So that is awesome. Thank you, everybody. I want to say, Jamo, as always, thank you for coming on. We love.
I am thanking
stories.
you guys. It's great. I always love our time.
It is outstanding. And every time that we have you on, it truly is. Let me just
Marinating in green and gold. I love it.
It is. It's marinating in green and gold, which is outstanding.
Well, thank you. I'll just say this, and you and I, with this group, I should say, this team, we started our relationship, I think, quite a little bit happenstance, because I saw your stuff pop up online, and I referenced it on TSN, and I was struck by how organic something like this was at the time, and I guess still is, but also how important I believe it to be in terms of building fan bases,
right,
and having people who love this organization, love this league, that in this not new world anymore that we're in, you guys are directing the conversation and helping shape, opinions but sharing in the fandom. And I just thought it was a really cool thing, and I'm really, humbled that you've invited me in 7 times and counting.
And be the last.
Well, thank you, and I just how much I appreciated it then, and know how important it is for the ongoing health of each of the teams in this league, and I think it's you guys are having fun, and it shows, and the fact that you share that with others is really it's a good thing.
Well, thank you very much. And I don't know. I could listen to Turfside Chats with Dave every day. So this is this. So now, where can people find you to interact with you? Are you still active online here?
Not really. I mean, I guess when I moved out of sort of day to day, and I was never really somebody that dispensed hot takes online. And I felt like I do a show that should likely be enough. But anyhow, that's the odd thing will pop up on X, but no, it's I do more. I tell people I'm probably better suited now as a guest and someone coming through as opposed to being a host, because it takes a lot, I think, to do it well to stay current. And when you're doing kind of a generalist sports show, you have to have your toes and fingers in a whole bunch of different places, I think, to do it reasonably well. And that that may be beyond my sort of capabilities now. I can focus and hyper focus for a few days, and then but it's the younger folks that can live this.
Fair enough. Well,
yeah.
And if you are watching this live, you can catch Dave on EST in the morning. So
yes. Occasionally I pop up with Lieutenant Eric and sometimes Hernan Salas and sometimes Dustin Nielsen. They call me, they go deep in the bullpen, and I come out and I go in, I get one batter out, and then I get off the mound.
Grab your 6 o'clock logger and get out of there.
Exactly. I go sit on the bench. Yes.
That's right. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Linda, where does everybody find you?
On Instagram at TrueBrew42.
Perfect. And Commissioner?
Twitter hell at Duchess Lombardi. And thanks for the plug this morning, Dave. That was much appreciated. I heard it.
Thank you. Well, yes, I was shameless. I'm like, hey, by the way, look what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Hey, that was outstanding. Superfan.
You can find me at 56 Parkies on pretty much any of the socials, and then the Edmonton Football History account at EDMHISTOREE.
outstanding. And you can follow the show, of course, at the Turf District on all of the different social medias. And you can follow me at Freepalicious on Twitter, or Twitter hell, I guess, as Commissioner calls it, where all of my post-game thoughts are on 3 Down Nation as well. So check those out, and definitely give me some feedback. I'm happy to chat about when we're talking about the games. Very excited for this week to get out and knock off the Mosaic Stadium off my list. It should be a great game Thursday night. The following Tuesday, we will be back, of course, to set up the home game. And unfortunately, I'm missing that game, but I'll be watching it, just not live. And it's yeah, I know it's awful. But I will still talk about it on the Tuesday after. So make sure you join us for that. Before I forget, make sure you also follow our friends at Pay It Forward Football. They are doing amazing things to spread kindness, and we need more of that in this world. Once again, all of our thoughts with you, Leanne and James. I hope everything is going okay. We're sending all of our love and positive vibes. And for Jaimo and Linda and Commissioner Kayla and Superfan Mike, I'm Andrew. Remember, you can't catch footballs with your face, and we will absolutely talk to you next week.